Hi everybody, this is drawninjakc here, and today's video is about you. That's right, the artwork that you guys sent in for me to critique. I'm going to review those today and perhaps tell you how to improve on your artwork and your art style, give you some advice and so on. So without further ado, let's get started on this thing, man. I'm very excited to see what you guys came up with. Let's go. Okay guys, let's start with, let me see here. Okay. Ben in quarantine. Let's see what you got here. Apparently it is a snake, and in between the snake there is, let me bring this up a little bit. There are like things that you use in your life, I guess. There's a word mistaked here, there's a mask, and there's a house, lots of things, even a Wii controller. I think that is right there. Okay, so this, I mean, from first glance I can already tell you that I can see that you put a lot of thought and work into this drawing, which shows, because coming up with the ideas of what to put in between the snake's skin, brilliant. Okay, I love that it looks like the snake meat too, so it's red and then outside the snake's skin is scaly, which looks really cool. I love the way you rendered it too. I loved all the shading and the drawing. I don't know, did you use watercolor or markers? I don't know. And go up and take a closer look. It looks like watercolor. Either way, I really like this. The only thing that I could tell you is that you may need to work more on the realism where the snake is concerned, in regards to the fangs and the hard lines. Now, you probably, maybe the hard lines, like these black lines right here, are intentional, which is fine. But if you are trying to create a sense of realism, then you're gonna have to work with not having those hard lines and just draw the scale of the skin of the snake, and let it just blend into the end of the skin rather than it blending into a hard solid line. But for me, and to be honest with you, the hard line works for this picture. So yeah, that's about as much as I can tell you. Other than that, I would say take your time more with getting the realism right. Not particularly a fan of how you did the fangs, because they look a little too straight going down, whereas snake fans have a little bit of a curve and some skin flapped around it. But again, that will come in time. I believe that once you draw more, once you practice more, you definitely pull off the effect of just being able to get the skin texture to be convincing without having to put the hard lines. Okay, let's see what is artist. Okay, let's see what that is. Ooh, this is nice. I'm not sure what to say, but this is one of my best artworks. Okay, can we bring that up a little bit? Let's see. There we go. Oh, I love this. This is really cool. Let me see, what are we dealing with here? Bring it back a little bit. No, let's bring it up a little bit. I'm trying to get, there we go. That could be fine. Nice, nice. I really like how you got the whole like metal look going. I could tell that this is like an artificial kind of life form or a robot, and apparently it's I don't know, of Hindu origin, but we're not here to detect. Not here to decide whether what's the religion, right? We're here to decide what kind of artwork. Okay, so I can automatically see that you have problems with, okay, that's how I can go in and out. You have problems with the hands, especially like right up here. It doesn't look like it's a convincing hand. So you may need to work on that. I like the way you did the face. I also like the way you did the body, where you can, you know, see all the robotic parts. It's kind of also hard to see this drawing because it's a little faded, and that probably had a lot to do with the camera you took it with. But I do like this drawing as a whole because it does represent a lot of different aspects of what you're trying to say, and they come across. They totally come across. And the only thing that I would say is perhaps to vary the line weight a little bit more. I see that you have a lot of, I mean, basically the same line weight throughout, which is cool if that's the effect you want. But in my opinion, I think that varying the line weight of the lines on this drawing, making certain things thicker, and perhaps also using more shadowing would improve this artwork quite a bit, because it doesn't really have a light source, and I think anything that makes a drawing dynamic is including a light source and then putting the shadows in according to that light source. So other than that, I think it's a really cool drawing. Alright, go back into the inbox. Okay, Sunny Isis, no critique. Alright. Let's see what we have here. SJ. Okay. What do we have here? Oh, okay. These are doodles. That's a nice art style that I'm really beginning to enjoy. Doodles. I don't do it myself, but I'm really beginning to enjoy the doodles. And what I can see here now. Now here's something that I always use whenever I use markers, and it comes out like this. You see how over here it's very uneven. Let me bring that up a little more. You see over here how it's very uneven. Right. So one of the things that I like to do is hit with a marker twice, but also with a color pencil of the same color afterwards. I don't know if you have color pencils, but if you do, after you hit it with the markers, try to find a color pencil that is close to the color that you're doing here, and then hit it with that. And that would even out the color. I see this is Mickey Mouse's hands, but I do like the little drawing and sketches here. The other thing I can suggest is, like I mentioned before, the line weights could vary a little bit. You stick a line weight somewhere else, and in some places use thinner line weights. Okay, but this is definitely a drawing that is coming from a person who, with a lot more practice, can just pull this off in a phenomenal way. This is great already, so you're already on your way. But just with a lot of practice and knowing how to get even tones in your broad areas would help. Okay? Alright, let's go back to okay, that says redraw. That's for our redraw video. Art critique submissions. Landon Memester. Alright, let's see what's up. Ooh, look at this, superhero style. Nice. Alright, let's bring this up. Okay. All right, this is apparently. Let me see. What does he say? Does he say something? This is a superhero I made when I was younger and decided to redraw. His name is Morph Master, and he can match his limbs, and he can stretch his limbs like Mr. Fantastic, and harden them for brutal attacks. That's pretty cool. All right, I love Morph Master. His outfit is awesome. Love the fact that he can like just enlarge his parts and make them hard for brutal attacks. Alright, so here's where I think you and Morph Master can improve on yourselves. I see how he has the suit on here, which is pretty cool, but what you'll need to do is excuse me. What you need to do is learn anatomy so that when you draw superheroes with skin-tight suits, it'll make it look much more dynamic when you put in the chest detail, the rib detail, and the ab detail, and the legs detail. Okay? Those always improves on the superhero anatomy. And again, vary the line weight. Not having especially with comic books, different line weights throughout the drawing improves the look of the superhero immensely. Okay? Ooh, this is cool. This looks like one of the guys from, what is it? What's that video game? Why does the video game escape me right now? From Master Chief. the name of the character is Master Chief. Alright, so let me see what he says about this actually. This is my submission for you. I redrew this guy recently and thought, why not have Halo? That's what it was. Halo. This is my submission for you. I redrew this guy recently and thought, why not have a professional artist critique my work? Okay, so there I am. I'm a professional artist. Okay, so I am definitely digging the outfit on this guy, man. I hope you sent him for a redraw, because I think I would love redrawing this guy. He looks totally awesome, and that blade of energy, I think, or whatever he's holding, looks crazy. It looks like the energy is like on the tip right there, and it just looks like it can cut through anything. But alright, so one of the problems I see automatically is, of course, you need to learn to basically separate your anatomy more convincingly. Like, for instance, these abs right here just kind of blend off into nowhere, which is fine. You know, it's good to have an indication of abs, right? But they need to look a little bit more real, rather than just 4 squares or 5 squares. Okay, and you see how the arm right here is kind of just, you know, there's a bubble here and then there's another bubble there. With an arm like this, you kind of get lost, and it just kind of looks like 3 lumps put together. You need to learn where to separate the muscles and the muscle groups, so that when you do drawings like this, you can make it look more dynamic by just adding more muscle detail. And that does help a guy like this look like 10 times more mean than he is, again with the leg muscles. And apparently, based on your cross-hatching hair, he's probably wearing a chainmail. And with something like this, you'll need to put more detail to convince people that the mesh or chainmail that he's wearing is a little bit more present. I barely saw that, so perhaps you need a little bit more patience when you're putting your character together, so that you can spend more time doing more detail on the chainmail. And the padding also, you have to also spend more time adding texture to that to make it look a little bit more convincing. Other than that, I can see that you are on your way to learning how to create superheroes, because I think I can already see that you've put a lot of thought into this guy. So I like how he came out. But artistically, that's the advice that I can give you. But I do like how he came out. So cool. My critique, it's me, no ice. Alright, let me see. Oh, okay, cool. Alright, he sent me 2 drawings. One of anime style character. And then the other one is cherries, which I think he did digital, which is looking really cool. Let me see if I can bring this up. I like the way the anime character looks. The only thing is, I'm not sure that the hair behind the eyes is an effective way to go. I think the hair should be in front of the eyes. So when you are working on anime characters, please think about that the hair is in front of the eyes. And in this case, don't bring the hair too much and too far down, unless that's part of the character design. All right. So let's see the other drawing, and these cherries, which I think were done digitally, they look like I can almost just pick them off my screen and eat them. This looks really nice. I don't usually do a lot of digital art. I do. I use Photoshop, especially just for comic book stuff. And for my comic book, I used a lot of Photoshop, but I don't really do a lot of digital art because, not because I'm not a fan or I don't like it, it's because I prefer traditional art, because I like the idea of creating one particular piece of art and then maybe selling that art piece, and then the person who bought it has the only copy of it. So that's always my thought behind that. But good job on the cherries. Nice. Sarah Witherford. Let's see what's going on here with Sarah. Alright, this is my robot monster character called Agragrag. Alright, we'll go Agragag. Bryce. Alright, Bryce. Okay, so this might be Sarah's son or something, Bryce. Alright, let's see what you got here. Oh, wow, this dude is nice. I might want to draw him. Alright, Bryce, let me see what you got going on here. Alright, Bryce, so this does look a little flat, so this is what you might need to do. You might need to add some shadows. So if you have a character that is all red, you might want to use a darker red to make him look a little bit more 3D on the outsides right here. So that's to make him look a little bit more 3D. Alright? And of course you have a long way to go in terms of making it look convincing. I can see what you're trying to do here, but I can tell also this is from a very young person, and I'm not sure how old you are, but I really like your creative aspect, because I want to draw this guy. So if I want to draw a character, then creatively it means that I think it's a really cool idea. All right. Okay. All right. Here we go. What do we got here? Okay, this seems to be like an orc. Yep. Okay. All right. Let's bring this up a little bit more. Okay. Alright, so the first thing I can already see is you drew this from a kind of like a top view, and that's very good because I always like drawing from perspective. But also, I think you may be challenging yourself a little too early here, because to draw something this challenging, like an orc from a top view, you need to have more command of the anatomy and also lighting, and I don't think you have that yet. Okay, this is a good attempt, and I encourage you to continue to draw things that are like not always on the easy path, but also your main goal at this point is to get a greater sense of anatomy, also get a greater sense of lighting and where it falls, and to learn to do faces a little better as well. Like for instance, I know he's an orc, but his eyes are a little too wide apart, and also his nose, I can tell you right now, is not very convincing. Okay, and I see that there's a beard going on, but I had to look twice to realize that was a beard. Okay, so there's a lot of things going on that kind of blend into each other and mesh into each other, and it might have a lot to do with the fact that you colored it as well. So my thing to you would be to just learn to do more of anatomically correct drawings in black and white before you get ahead and color it. Okay, learn to master black and white before you get ahead and color, because the colors right here, and again, that might have to do with the markers that you have. They don't help the situation. Although this is a nice drawing, I can really see that you put a lot of work into it, and I can see you thought about everything. But you may need to break this drawing down. Like for instance, take this whole drawing, right? This is what I would do probably. Take this drawing and draw it over again piece by piece and try to do it better. Like for instance, draw like 10 faces of this guy, right? And choose the best one, and then figure out why that's the best one. Look at it and say, okay, why is that best one? Is the nose better? Whatever. And then you can teach yourself how to improve in your art that way. Okay? And the hand in relation to the arm, again, not very convincing. Okay, so, but I do like the fact that you drew it from this angle, because I used to do that all the time myself. That whenever I saw a drawing, or when I felt that I was weak in something, that was the thing I always drew the most. So I encourage you to do that. Rito Yuki. Oh, this is nice. This is a realistic self-portrait. Is it a self-portrait? I'm not sure, but it's a portrait. I love the way this looks. Okay. Now I can see one little problem once I bring it up already. I mean, I don't know what the source material looks like, but you see here where you have just the line going across like that. Now that could be useful if the shirt looks like that, but when you're doing realism, you can't really have those lines going across like that. Either do it without the lines, or learn to blend the lines to where they look gray as opposed to pencil lines going across. Alright, because the face, you see how, like what you did here with the face, the shadows on the face, this is the sort of thing you need to do with the lines on this shirt. And a lot of times what happens is that we do the face, we get the face nice, and we get excited about it, we put all our energy on the face, and then when we get the secondary things like the shirt and stuff like that, we just kind of get lazy and just want to finish it off real quick, and so we do things like lines. And that's where you have to put most of your energy, because you spend so much time making the face look good. So try to maybe even walk away from the art piece for a second and come back renewed and tackle the secondary stuff like the shirt. And this way you kind of like approach it with a renewed energy, so you can put in the same, because you can have that same energy that you did with the face. But this looks really great. The lip is a little uneven right here. I can tell. I mean, again, I don't know what the subject looks like, but I can already tell that based on the nose, the lip is a little uneven. So you want to be careful with that, because the side of the nose hair ends here on the lip, and the side of the nose hair doesn't end hair just goes across, so the lip looks a little uneven. The eyes are good. They just may need a little evening up. Like this one needs to even be brought up a little bit, or this one needs to be brought down a little bit. But other than that, I like how this came out. Just please be careful with how you approach the secondary, and I call them that, the secondary realistic parts, which is like the clothes. Because nobody wants to pay attention to the clothes, they want to pay attention to the face. Nobody's going to say, hey, that doesn't look like my clothes. They're going to say, that doesn't look like my face. Alright? Alright, let's see, who's the next one? Quentin Trung. Alright. Let's find out what Quentin's got in store for us. I'm a big supporter. They're drawninjakc. I'm a big supporter, and I'm happy that you are posting great content that actually shows us your drawing process and not just edited clips. Thank you. All right, you're welcome, sir. Oh, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Kesh, actually, the guy who created the 100 Days of Sketching challenge. His style is very cartoony, creative. I like this. I like this. I can tell that you're influenced by him quite a bit. The only thing that I can see with this is that if you are gonna do cartoony styles like this, then go all the way and make the lines that you are making in terms of just the outlines right here, make them black, completely black, and then you can go in with the different colors or what have you. But when you make them toned down like this, it kind of loses the pop effect. But if you made these lines completely black, then it would be a more dynamic effect. I also like the way you did the lighting on here, which is really, really, really nice. It does bring the characters to life a lot more, and it's more dramatic, and especially with this right here. I think you have a great command of lighting, because I can tell the sword here is the light source, and throughout the drawing you're actually staying to that. So that is really cool. These are really cool drawings. But yeah, definitely make the lines completely black when you're drawing this type of cartoony drawings. All right? Okay. For redraw, critique. Says, don't worry, this art is not plagiarized. The 8 is just saying that this is the 8th drawing I did during the quarantine. I hope you like my Gogeta. Yep, love the Gogeta. Love the Gogeta. Alright, so I am a fan of Dragon Ball Z, so you're in for it. Alright. Okay, I like the way that you did the face right here. The face is really cool. It's very explosive. You do need to work more on making it look more like, was it Gogeta, right? So although the muscles are there, they're not Dragon Ball Z muscles. If you're gonna do a Dragon Ball Z character, it has to look like a Dragon Ball Z character. This looks like a Dragon Ball Z character in a lot of ways. Of course, the musculature. He's also, the eyes, the character style, the hair. That's really good. Where it doesn't look like a Dragon Ball Z character is the energy that it's presenting. And by that I mean, of course, you have him powering up here or summoning a spirit bomb. I'm not sure, but it's a little black ball. He's not killing anybody with that. All right, so try to. And the thing with Dragon Ball Z, a lot of the effect is the shadowing. Now you look at any Dragon Ball Z drawing, you will never see one that, any colored one, you'll never see one that doesn't have dynamic shadowing. So even if you are drawing in black and white, you can use the pencil to shade the muscles, the face, to make and of course have a light source, but to make it look more dramatic and more dynamic, because that's what Dragon Ball Z is all about. They're always having a light show whenever they're changing, fighting, whatever. So there's always shadowing, and this is where this doesn't look like a Dragon Ball Z drawing, because there's no lighting, there's no shadowing. It's just pretty flat, and you're gonna have to get a little bit more dynamic if you want this to be convincingly a Dragon Ball Z drawing. However, your drawing style and your drawing ability comes through in this particular picture. I can tell that you can draw. So now that you know what you need to do to make it look like a Dragon Ball Z character, you can go ahead and do that because you already know how to draw. Alright? Hey man, it's Fox Art. You're an amazing artist. You'll crush JC. Thank you. Just a few drawings I've shared for my vids. I'm pretty young, so it's not very good. Working to get better. You are amazing art. Favorite artist. Hashtag thanks at Fox. Let me see. What is this here? What are we looking at? What am I doing here? He sent me a file, 21 megabytes with drawings. Okay. Let's see here. Alright, let's take a look at the drawings. Let's go. Ooh, that's nice. I like that. Alright, let's stop it right there. And I don't know if this is a character from any particular game or whatever, but I do like how this drawing looks. The only thing that I can tell you is to try to make your lines a little bit more clean. I can tell you have a very sketchy style, which does, interfere with how great this drawing can look. I mean, this is a great drawing in of itself, but the lines are very, very, very sketchy. So practice trying to make, if you say like this line in the arm right here, right? If you're gonna make that line, practice trying to make it one line as opposed to hatching it all the way down and hatching it across. Kind of like right here. See, there's a lot of hatching, and that's not very good for a drawing, especially with someone who's wearing armor. So try to make cleaner lines. All right. Also try to definitely work on your hand anatomy. I can see that there's a few problems connecting the hand to the arm, so try to work on that. Well, I like this drawing overall, but you do need to work on those things that I had mentioned. All right. This is a portrait of my daughter Gemma. Did a month ago or so. She recently turned 12 on May 29th and is a huge fan. Happy belated birthday, Gemma. Oh, okay. This is looking pretty good. Now, I guess this is a self-portrait, I guess. Yes, so I'm going to go ahead and just look at it as a self-portrait. Looks really good. The only thing that I would say is that you may need a blending stump so that the shadows and shading that you're doing on your drawing, and bring this up a little bit, so that the shadow and shading that you're doing on your drawing does not have lines. Okay, like for instance, I can see that there's a lot of lines on the neck, a lot of lines on the shirt, lines on there, and that makes the drawing look rough. All right, so your transitions and your shadows, in order to look real or realistic, it's supposed to have seamless transitions, and the pencil point doesn't do that, but a blending stump does. And maybe even your finger, or you can create your blending stump from home. Okay, I like the way the eyes look, but again, you can use a blending stump in order to make them transition so seamlessly that the eyes look a little bit more realistic. All right. And I do see some problems in the hair, again, still with the lines and making it look a little rough, and that is making the drawing not look as realistic as it could look if you just take your time and use a blending stump and just create some nice seamless blends from one thing to the next, from light to dark. Okay, all right, there we go. Okay, I was from your mistake recent stream. This was the fan art I made. Okay, is that me? Okay, I think that might be me. Does not look like me, but my ears are much bigger. I'm just kidding. Oh yeah, she's has my crucifix too. That's what I have on right here. That's so funny. Alright, so I like the way this looks. This is obviously a caricature picture. I really do like the way this looks. This is almost well, how does she know I wore Nikes? It's amazing. This is so funny. I don't even know what to say about this because it's so funny. I feel so weird looking at the drawing of myself. Alright, so this is a cartoony drawing. I do like how you are literally just like taking all the details that you know from me and putting them in a drawing. The thing that I would tell you again, like I told other people in this, is that the line weight that you're doing would improve how dynamic the drawing looks. So there's one line weight consistently throughout this drawing, which is okay, but if you would just vary the line weight for certain things, I think it would look much better. All right. What is this? This is feet. What is this? Oh, okay. These are some cool drawings. Let me see here. Alright, let me see. I'm gonna pick one to review. Let's go pick with this one. Okay. Alright, cool. I like it. I do like it. When you do the outline around the character, please make sure to be more careful about not leaving white space between the line and the character. That usually is just such a death sentence for a drawing. Okay, so that's the only thing that I have. That's the only advice I have about this. But I can tell that this is Master Roshi. I keep saying Yoshi every time I talk about this guy. And yeah, this looks really nice. But just again, be careful with that, and be careful with the white lines between the character and the outline. Caleb's art. Let's see. Alright, here we go. Oh my God, Batman! Can we take a photo? No cameras, kid. I like this. This is obviously stylized, so there's really not much for me to say about the style itself. But I can tell that your cross hatching definitely needs to be more controlled because it's all over the place. Okay, and I can tell you use it for just simple shadowing, yes. But even if you're using it for simple shadowing, you need to make sure that the lines are straight or they're in a curve. But these lines seem to be a little chaotic. If that's your intention, okay, I get it. That's fine. But if you want to just seriously crosshatch, your lines need to be more uniform in regards to creating a shadow. All right. But I like this. I think this is really awesome. Okay guys, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed looking over your artwork and giving you guys advice. I hope the advice helped. So if you do want your artwork critiqued by a crazy artist like myself, you can send your artwork to dnkcart@gmail.com. That's dnkcart@gmail.com, and in the reason box, just put critique. So this was a lot of fun, and I'll see you guys next time. This is drawninjakc saying See you guys next time. All right.